Right.
This reminds me, I don't know if you remember when ABCO released the anniversary edition of the Rolling Stones, Let It Bleed.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You know the little cake figures on the top of the cake?
Uh,
When they showed the video commercial to advertise the set, those little figurines came to life and they were animated and they moved
uh-huh.
around.
Uh-huh.
And I really thought they were going to, I thought when I looked at it, are they going to include those little guys?
Uh-huh.
Hey, everybody, this is TJR,
And this is Robert Kinsler.
and welcome to New Music Friday. I guess we should explain something here, you and I. We, of course, have for years have tried to do our Music Worth Buying show on YouTube. And lately we've been running into so many problems with trying to play clips on the show of the albums we're reviewing and talking about, having to have the clips removed. And we've been very frustrated, and we've been saying we're not sure what the point is anymore. If we can't play clips, we at least don't want to do the show in this format. We were talking about this. And so what we're going to be doing instead, we might talk about new releases that are coming out soon, which we're going to do today, in advance. And we might talk about multiple new releases that are coming out. We might also talk about new music that we've picked up recently. And it might be new releases. It might be old releases that are new to us, or we rebought them for a specific reason. But we're just gonna,
Isn't it?
yeah, that'll be kind of like
It's
show and
kind of
tell. We'll
whatever
just talk
comes to
about,
mind.
yeah, what we picked up lately and what we're excited about, or what we're excited about hearing. We may not have picked it up
Right.
yet. But we've heard it with, hey, this is really cool, and yeah, it's just going to be kind of a discussion. And so we're gonna start this Friday, and this Friday, June 10th, 2021. I was reading your blog, Robert.
So actually, we're calling it New Music Fridays, but so you read my blog post
Yeah.
yesterday, which was on Thursday, the 10th. But yeah, there was a big news about a 50th anniversary multi-format edition of George Harrison's All Things Must Pass.
Yep.
And for people that don't know, and probably most of the viewers do know, All Things Must Pass is widely considered probably the best of all the solo Beatle efforts. It was released back in 1970. It was co-produced by George Harrison and Phil Spector. It featured an array of greats that joined George Harrison to track. We're talking about Eric Clapton, Billy Preston, a guy named Ringo Starr. Maybe you've heard of him. This band, I think we've heard of them before. They're called Badfinger. I mean, Dave Mason. I mean, it's my blog does go into a number of the people that contributed. And yeah, this is, I'll hold up here. Back in 2001, before he died, George Harrison worked on a 30th anniversary, revisiting of the album. But now Danny Harrison, I think, has kind of led this big effort to really get this really hugely anticipated 50th anniversary edition out.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. And this is all on your blog, Rock and Roll Truth. And I will be leaving a link under more info. So, check out Robert's blog, subscribe to it, follow it. He gets to talk about I'm talking about you in the third person. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
You get to talk. I'm sorry, you're here in the room. You get to, you talk about a lot of things, a lot of upcoming releases, and you review releases that I may not get the time, or either of us may get the time to talk about here on this channel. So I recommend people go check that out. And so yes, you posted this yesterday, but I was looking at it today, and is this this is the 50th anniversary. I'm looking at your page right now
Yeah,
here.
because the album came out in November of 1970.
Wow.
Now I know obviously we're in 2021, but the pandemic, I think, delayed just about everything, as we know, in
Yeah.
music. I mean, a lot of albums were held up, or some probably even haven't still come out. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's been a lot of discussion about this album, and people knew that it was coming. And when I say an album, I mean it goes beyond that, because, and I know you're going to help me lead through some of the formats and stuff, and we can share that, both artwork of what we have and what we know. But yeah, there's all kinds of surprises and a lot of previously unreleased material that's going to finally see the light of day.
Yeah, this is a pretty impressive set of configurations here. But real quick on that anniversary edition you were just showing a moment ago, that was 30th or 40th
No, this was 30th. Yeah, this came out in
anniversary.
2001.
Now that of course had a new remastering of the album.
It did, right.
Did it have? I don't own that particular version. Did it have any bonus tracks?
Um, I believe, boy, you're cutting me here to the quick. It's two because the original album came out as a 3 LP release.
Yeah.
This has a CD one and a CD two. The second CD includes a jam with a number of tracks on it, and for the life of me right now, it's escaping me because I've played this one for so long. I don't remember on that original one
Uh-huh.
if the original jam tracks were on there. So maybe what we'll do is we'll
I'm going to look
edit
it up
that.
right now. I'm going to look it up
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, let me just look it up. I just found it here. I just looked it up here. I'm reading this from Amazon's editorial review. The new package includes 5 additional tracks.
Okay.
So it had five additional tracks. That was in 2001 when that came out.
Right. Exactly.
So,
2001.
yeah.
And it is a good sounding album, and I know George worked hard on it, but obviously his son went through, I think in my blog post, as I recall, when I put it on there,
Huh?
an exhaustive amount of tapes and everything that they went through, and
Yeah.
probably determined what would be worth salvaging, remixing, remastering, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, probably like you, I'm really looking forward to hearing what's out there and what we're gonna hear when this comes out in August. Just so people do know, it is set for release on August 6th. So we only have to wait, a couple months here. So it'll be out and available.
I'm going to read real quickly here from the press release here for everybody here. George Harrison's masterpiece, All Things Must Pass, celebrated with suite of new 50th anniversary editions. Super Deluxe Edition of Landmark 1970 solo album collects 70 tracks, over 5 CDs or 8 LPs, including 42 previously unreleased demo recordings, session outtakes, and studio jams. Exclusive All Things Must Pass scrapbook features archival notes, track-by-track annotation, rare photos, memorabilia, and more. Very limited edition Uber Deluxe includes 8 LPs and 5 CDs in specially designed wooden crate, along with elaborate expanded scrapbook, laser cut wood detailing from oak tree in George's garden. That's wild.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Scale replicas of gnomes featured on iconic cover, lithographs, and more. Okay, so that's enough of the press release.
Yeah. There's some different formats here, depending on what your budget is. Obviously, some of these are pretty pricey. So for the person that they just have to have everything, this may be the one new collection they pick up in 2021. This is pretty amazing, and people have known for a while that it was coming, and now we finally have all the details and know that it will be here shortly, like I said, this summer.
Let's go ahead. I'm going to go over the different editions we've got here.
Okay.
Of course, we've got the 2 CD edition, All Things Must Pass, and this is basically the album. So this is just a 2 CD edition of the album itself, of the new remaster. There's the poster, which appears to be in every single version that I see here, and then of course some liner notes. And let's go ahead here. After the 2 CD edition, we have the 3 LP version. Once again, this is basically the album itself. It was originally 3 LPs. Has the poster. I'm assuming this poster came with the original album.
Yeah, and I don't have the original on vinyl.
I remember seeing the original version. I didn't own it, of course. My older brother owned it.
Okay.
And I remember seeing it there. And this looks like the original packaging of the album here, what I'm seeing here. The slim box, although they've tinted the colors a little bit. Mm-hmm. The poster, the 3 albums, although the sleeves I'm noticing here have some printing on it. These are probably, I'm guessing, maybe song lyrics, credits, that type of thing.
Yeah.
On there. And I'm sure there's liner notes on that as well, like the similar liner notes. I'm sure that's there as well. Then we've got the 3 LP edition again, but just with limited edition colored vinyl. If you're into that, you'll spend more for that. And we should mention the 2 CD version, $19.98. The 3 LP version, $64.98.
Wow.
The 3 LP limited edition colored vinyl, $75.98. Now, getting into more affordable territory is the 3 CD deluxe edition. And this is similar. Yeah, exact same package, except there's a third CD. And this contains session outtakes and jams.
Okay.
And it is 17 tracks. And once again, the poster, but that is only 25 bucks.
Okay. Yeah. So that's definitely probably worth it for, especially for someone that doesn't own it, the album. So
Yeah, and if I'm going to go, I'll tell you right now, if I'm going for one, I'm going for this 3 CD edition.
mhm.
You know, I don't see any point in buying the 2 CD edition, but yeah, the 3 CD, I would upgrade for that. I would
Yeah,
get that.
exactly.
After that, we have a 5 LP deluxe edition. And this is also, once again, in the box. And it has, of course, the poster. And I do see the printing on the sleeves, but it looks more like lyrics on
Okay.
these sleeves here. And of course, we've got the album. We've got the 3 albums. So the other 2 albums, let's see here. This is basically repeating the third CD.
But it's taken 5 vinyl discs and
Exactly,
because they
the
don't.
album's 3,
Right.
and then 2 more vinyl discs to contain all these session outtakes, jams, and all of
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So
Makes
that's,
sense.
yeah. Now, of course, if you want to get all those session tracks on vinyl, that whole thing is going to cost you $89.98.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to criticize anybody, but to me, I do not need outtakes, session tracks, demos on vinyl. I really don't.
Yeah.
Love hearing the album on vinyl, would love hearing it on vinyl. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
all those bonuses, yeah, I don't need that personally. So that's why I would go with that 3 CD edition, excuse me.
Yeah.
Now it gets kind of interesting. We have the All Things Must Pass Super Deluxe, because we've got 5 CDs here. So let's see here.
Yeah, and I think TJ, if I can cut in, I think that edition collects 70 tracks. And then a Blu-ray presents the main album in high resolution stereo, 5.1 surround sound, and Dolby Atmos. That collection also features a 56-page scrapbook that was curated Olivia Harrison. So that's a pretty nice package. But I don't see the price right here offhand. I don't know if you know what
Yes,
I think. What did we say? Was that about 149 or something?
149.98. Just
Okay.
say 150.
So, and
5.1.
that part gets interesting because if you have a good home theater system with the Blu-ray and stuff, that's going to give you a really unique experience. I know we've even done a video together where we listened to one of the Blu-rays that the Beatles had done, and it was pretty phenomenal experience. It's like you're immersed in the music.
It was very
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can, so yeah, that's a hefty, that's a bit of a hefty price tag. Of course, one thing about prices, sometimes these items go down as they get closer to release date. So that's one thing. Another thing, we'll maybe talk about this more in a moment, but sometimes it's better to wait till after it comes out too. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Okay. So now after that edition, we then have the 8 LP edition. I'm going to assume here this 8 LP edition basically replicates what was in that $150 version.
Right.
It does it for $200.
And TJ, it's called the Uber Deluxe Edition. Just so.
Oh no. Actually, no. That's next. That's
next. Okay, my apologies. So I've jumped ahead. I'm going to let you proceed. Sorry about that.
That's okay. This is an 8 LP edition here, and the Super Deluxe Edition LP collects 70 tracks across 8 LPs.
Okay.
The collection contains a beautiful 60-page scrapbook curated by Olivia Harrison. Once again, a version of that. Okay. Page count is a little bit different, with unseen imagery and memorabilia from the era, handwritten lyrics, diary entries, studio notes, tape box images, a comprehensive track by track, and more. It also includes a replica of the original album poster. Okay, so this, once again, this is basically the LP version at $200. This is the LP version of the $150 CD version with the Blu-ray. Okay. But this doesn't have a Blu-ray, which I think is not cool.
Yeah.
For what you're paying for this set, they should toss in that Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because people who like vinyl also like Blu-rays. They probably watch movies on Blu-ray.
Right.
And yeah, and they would like to hear it, that Dolby Atmos audio and that 5.1. I've complained about this so many times. When they replicate a super deluxe edition that has the Blu-ray and the CD version, but doesn't contain it in the album version. That's always
Right.
bothered me that they don't do that. I feel really bad for people who might want all of this on vinyl, but still want that Blu-ray. And that means
Right.
they're probably gonna have to buy the all CD version instead. So
Mhm.
yeah, that stinks in my opinion. Okay, so let's see here. Now we get to this Uber Deluxe edition. Uber box set, I guess is what they're calling it here. And look at this. Look at this. This is amazing looking. It comes in this wood box here.
I know it's pretty correct. I mean, I'm looking at it too. It's crazy. I mean, it looks like a treasure chest there or something.
Yeah. So this includes 8 LPs, 5 CD, and Blu-ray. So basically, you're getting the albums, you're getting the CDs, you're getting the Blu-ray, you're getting all of it
Yeah.
housed in an artisan designed wooden crate. The collection contains 2 books, an
Wow.
elaborate and expanded 96-page version of the scrapbook curated by Olivia Harrison, while a second 44-page book chronicling the making of All Things Must Pass through extensive archival interviews and with notes. The elegantly designed books pay homage to Harrison's love of gardening and nature. The book also contains a wooden bookmark made from a felled oak tree in George's Friar Park.
Wow.
Okay. This truly unique box set will also contain a 1/6 scale replica figurines of Harrison and the Gnomes featured on the iconic album cover, a limited edition illustration by musician and artist Klaus Vormann, as well as a copy of, hopefully I can say this, let me do my best, Parama, let me try one more time. Parama Ansa Yoganada's Light from the Great Ones. And let me see if I can say this here. Rudrakasha beads contained in individual custom-made boxes.
Wow.
It also includes a replica of the original album poster. They all have that.
Yeah.
Whew. This set features 70 tracks, including 47 demo recording session outtakes and studio jams, of which 42 are previously unreleased. Blu-ray disc includes high resolution, blah, 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 blah. We said all that. Okay.
Yeah, all
so there you go. That's the Uber Deluxe edition. And if you want to get this with the figurines and everything, $998.98. Okay, it's $1,000.
$1,000. Wow.
It's $1,000 for this.
Wow.
And they've even got financing terms here. A little while ago, I made an April Fool's video where I talked about a whole bunch of very famous artists, including Paul McCartney, releasing an album tribute to William Shatner.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just
I remember that.
An April Fool's gag video.
Yeah.
And there were all these editions, and there was one called the Super Deluxe Probation Edition, which would feature an exclusive 7-inch vinyl of William Shatner covering Leonard Nimoy's The Legend of Bilbo Baggins. And I said financing would be available through Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
The official financier of the William Shatner collection. And but they actually have here on You Discover Music, starting at $334. It says here financing here available starting at $334 a month.
Okay.
So you can finance this in easy payments if you would like. If you want to pay for it in installments.
Yeah, that's a little out of my league. I love this album, but that's a little out of my league.
Bit out of my league, but I wish I could get my hands on those little figurines.
Yeah, but it's like obviously, like some of the music sites that I visit, there's a lot of excitement about this this collection, because this, like I said, it's such a beloved album, and we haven't even talked about too many of the tracks. I know we mentioned My Sweet Lord, but so many of the tracks on here, like Wah Wah is such a great great track, and Beware of Darkness. Some of these songs I think have become even more iconic and more beloved over the decades. I mean, it's just a great album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely I see myself picking up that 3 CD version. I feel like that's a worthwhile upgrade for me anyways. Like I said, how much you spend, what version you buy depends on your personal attachment to the album and to the artist. I would love to get my hands on those little metal figurines. but I'm not going to pay $1,000 to get them.
Right. Right.
This reminds me, I don't know if you remember when APCO released the anniversary edition of the Rolling Stones Let It Bleed.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The little cake figures on the top of the cake. When they showed the video commercial to advertise the set, those little figurines came to life and they were animated and they moved
Uh-huh.
around.
Uh-huh.
And I really thought they were going to, I thought when I looked at it, are they going to include those little guys?
Uh-huh.
Because that would be so cool if they did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they didn't.
Yeah.
That was just something in the video to promote the box
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I said in my video when I first talked about it coming out, I said, yeah, if they'd included that, I think that would have been so cool. That would have been such a cool bonus to get. Because that set was like, I think when it came out, it was kind of expensive. It was over 100, I think.
Okay.
And this is the next thing we want to talk about is buying it after the fact. I ended up picking up that set for Let It Bleed because I like that album a lot, but I wasn't ready to spend 150, maybe it was even more. I forget exactly for that set, but I finally got it as a deal on Amazon sometime later for like $60,
Okay.
60, $65, which I felt, okay, I'll get it
Yeah.
for that price.
Yeah, it's definitely worth that. Yeah,
And
no
you
doubt.
can sometimes you can I picked up Queen's News of the World set that they put out, I think for more than half off because I
Yeah.
waited.
And
And then
I know for me, like when Paul McCartney's been doing these great reissues of his solo albums, I picked up Band on the Run for significantly less than because I love that album. When we're talking about McCartney albums, love that album. I picked it up, like you said, probably 50% off, and it was a find. I had to be patient and wait, like you're saying,
yeah,
but if you're a little bit cash short or just if you think that, hey, these are a little bit expensive, just wait until you can get your deal.
yeah. The only thing with that, of course, is that deal might never come.
It might, yeah.
Yeah, it might never come, and some of these things they sell out and that's it, and they're
Yeah.
gone. And
Well, I think this one, the really deluxe edition that we were talking about, that includes, things like even the wood from the felled oak
tree.
tree in the garden. Those things I don't think will be around much. I remember when I was very young, George Harrison wrote a bio called "I Me Mine," and you could purchase it signed by George Harrison for 300. I was simply not making much money at that time.
Yeah.
To be honest with everyone out there, I was working in a gas station. This is
Wow.
before I had a writing career and stuff. I
Yeah.
couldn't buy it. If you would even find that today, I'm sure it's in the thousands of dollars if it's in good condition.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time and somehow purchase, but again, if there's something that you really want, like you said, you better just go ahead and pick it up, so you
Yeah,
can
if
get it.
you, so long as you're not gonna, as long as you feel it's worth, your hard-earned money, it all, like I said, it depends on how you feel. To me, I thought the Sergeant Pepper 50th anniversary set was worth what I paid for it.
Yeah.
I thought the White Album set
Oh,
was worth what I
totally.
paid for it. And you could tell me, you could bring up another album that's where they're going to charge the same amount, and I may not feel the same way, depending on what,
Yeah.
like I said, how I feel about that album. And that's a very subjective, personal thing. But myself
Yeah.
personally, I would go for this. I would go for the 3 CD version.
Yeah.
What about you? You've already got the 30th anniversary edition.
I
What do
know I do. So for me to purchase a 3 CD one wouldn't be a real big advantage unless I would be willing to part with this one, but I am attached to it. I've it's spent so many hours either in my car stereo or my home stereo, but I'm thinking about the one with the 5 CDs and the Blu-ray if I can
Really?
swing.
Wow.
But
Okay.
like you
Yeah.
said, I may have to wait. I won't necessarily
Yeah.
be able to get it on the date it's released, but I would love to have that one and then obviously write about it in my column or maybe talk about it with
Show
you
it
on
here.
an
If you do
upcoming
pick it up,
episode.
yeah. One
Exactly.
that I've still been trying to get my hands on is the Goat's Head Soup Super Deluxe Edition.
Yeah.
I like that album a lot, but I wasn't willing to pay what they wanted for that.
See, I did. It's one of my favorite Stones albums. I went ahead and sprung for it. I don't exactly remember
Oh,
how. Yeah, but I went. So maybe I'll talk about
you've been
that next.
holding out,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
You're holding out.
yeah. No, I did.
Yeah.
I didn't get it when it came out. I got it later. I kept thinking about
Oh,
it, and I just love. I mean, I originally got that when it was released on cassette, and I can remember I wore out the cassette, and then somehow, maybe because of streaming or whatever, I had never repurchased the album. I have quite a Stones collection. So
yeah.
when that came out, I go, you know what? I don't own it. It's like one of that and Exile are probably my two favorite Stones albums. I'm gonna go ahead and spring for it, and I did.
Very
you
cool.
know.
Very cool. Yeah, you're gonna have to show it on camera at some point soon.
Yeah,
We have to talk
yeah,
about.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'll
like I
have to
said,
do
on
that.
this, hopefully we'll do this. Hopefully you'll see one of these every Friday. We're going to talk about new releases, things we've picked up recently, albums that we're excited about that we've heard. Maybe we have bought them, maybe we haven't, but we've heard them. We're excited, and upcoming stuff that we're excited about too. And I'll admit, I am. I would say I am reasonably excited about getting that 3 CD version. Reasonably.
Mhm.
The recent CSNY, excuse me, Deja Vu that I picked up, which I talked about here. The day that was announced, I was so excited, and it did not disappoint. Did not
Yeah.
disappoint for
Well,
me.
I need to get that on my list. And again, and I know we could talk about this
Forever.
to the moon and back, but yeah, there's so many of these. Like we were talking about, just the day before the George Harrison 50th anniversary of
Mhm.
All Things Must Pass was announced, Eric Clapton announced that his original
Yeah,
self-titled solo album from 1970, Eric Clapton, is being reissued. I think with some remixes and stuff. It's like it takes a financial commitment to buy these things. And, and like I said, then you have to determine, do I then want to get rid of my original one? Where do I store all this if you're into physical media like we are?
yeah.
It takes room, and there's a lot of decisions on this stuff. And I mean, these special editions and these deluxe editions, they're coming out really frequently now.
They are. They are. Do you own the original album, the Eric Clapton? Or do you own that album? Because I don't.
I do not. If I do, it's on cassette.
Okay.
So
All right.
that one I may get that one. That's
So
definitely a
this is just a
masterpiece. So
two
I'm
CD set, right? The Eric Clapton one.
exactly.
So this is
So it
probably a
shouldn't be too
lot more
expensive.
affordable.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very affordable. So that one I'll be trying to pick up, I'm sure.
To be honest, I may have heard music from this album, but I can't, I don't know if I've ever really even listened to that album.
Yeah.
Maybe I've heard
Yeah.
some of it without
Yeah,
knowing it.
you've probably like some of the hits like After Midnight, you've probably heard,
Oh, okay. Okay. Then yeah,
yeah,
I
you
have
kind of know
heard some
some.
of it at least.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
just the announcement of these things makes me say, let me go listen to it prior to it coming out, because I talked about the Beach Boys one that you mentioned on your blog,
right,
Feel
another
Flows.
God, that was last week's big
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I talked about it on the channel here, even though I was not familiar with those two albums, which I was very open about.
Uh-huh.
But just reading about this set over the week, I have since mentioned that I have started listening to those two albums because I'm curious. I want to know, why are they doing this?
It's an interesting period because I'll tell you, TJ, I'm like you. I knew the Beach Boys from hits. I saw them for the first time back in the '80s when Dennis Wilson and was still playing with them. And I don't think Brian Wilson was at the date I saw back then, but I've seen Brian Wilson solo a number of times since then.
Huh?
But that's an interesting period. They did some great music, but they were no longer kind of like. They weren't having the kind of success like the Beatles and the Stones were in the late 60s and early 70s, but they were doing some really great music. I saw Brian Wilson on a double bill with the Zombies about 2 years ago, and there was a lot of material from that time period that was covered at the show. And it was fantastic because he had an amazing band around him.
Yeah,
And then I did, like you, I went and listened to some of the songs when I was working on the review and stuff. And I said, wow, this stuff is pretty great. Why haven't I heard it? So I'm definitely looking forward to that set too, even if I'm just going to stream it. I don't know yet if it's going to be in my, if it's affordable, because all these releases
yeah.
entail some serious cash. So
I
we'll have to
started
see how
listening
things
to both
go.
these two albums over the week. I think I've heard both once now. There's definitely some interesting stuff going on. And there's definitely some, how shall I say, some experimentation happening with it. I
Yeah.
also noticed that at least one of the tracks was originally supposed to be part of Smile, because
Mhm.
I recognized it from the Brian Wilson Smile that was released in this century.
Right.
I forget the exact year. I'm not going to bother to look it up,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was released during this century here. His new version, that was the one done with his band, like you were talking
With his
about.
band. Right.
Yeah, which
Exactly.
is a great release, by the way.
Yeah.
Brian, listen, if you haven't gotten it, not just you, Robert, but just anybody out there, if
Yeah.
you
I
haven't
have it.
gotten
Yeah.
Brian Wilson's Smile, go pick that up.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it just smokes.
You know.
Yeah, but some of that is on those two albums, and I was surprised to hear it on those albums that it made its way to them, because at that point, Smile was just this legendary album that never happened. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
These things are coming quick. There's going to be one from Stone Temple Pilots next month.
Wow. Another
Their
one.
their Tiny Music album, which is an album I really like. And it's coming out in like a 3 CD, 1 LP set. That's a great 90s album.
Yeah, I was going to say it's crazy to think about now that an album could have been released in the 90s, but it's now worthy of being revisited
Yeah,
and reissued. Yet because all of a sudden, where's the time gone, right?
yeah. It all goes to New Jersey. That's where it goes.
Yeah.
Anyways, though.
Yeah.
But yeah. So so everybody let us know what your thoughts are on not only this set, but just these super deluxe box sets in general. Are you burning out on them? Are you still can't get enough of them? Maybe. Are you going to pick up this one, The All Things Must Pass? Or are you gonna pass on it? Are you gonna, if you go for it, what are you gonna go for? And what other sets out there have you heard about that you're excited about? Let us know. And anyways, though, so this is our first installment of New Music Friday, and hope you all enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
Robert, hope you had a good time.
Oh, I did it. Hey, love talking music with you,
Yeah,
TJ. It's always
same
a
here,
great
man.
time.
Same here. And so everybody, if you like these videos, click like. It really helps. If you just click like, it does so much good. And also click subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. And also, if you share these videos on your social media, that helps a lot too. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all stay safe and healthy.
Later.
Bye.